Okay. Hi, I'm fitness expert Jeremiah Kruger, and today I want to show you my 5 favorite upper body exercises for building a strong and muscular upper body. Stick around till after if you want to know why I like them so much. Exercise number 1 is an incline dumbbell chest fly. I'm picking this exercise because most of us have a more easy time developing our middle and lower chest, but that upper chest might be where we're lacking from an aesthetic standpoint. The incline is set to 30 degrees, and that's pretty important. My setup for the dumbbell position is palms facing each other, so I got a neutral wrist. I'm going to get a slight bend in my elbows, and I'm going to lock that out throughout the movement, and then I'm going to pin my shoulder blades to the bench. I'm going to lower those dumbbells about as wide as I can get them. Your range of motion is dependent on your flexibility and strength, so you might not go as low as I can. And in fact, if you are new to this exercise, I would definitely be cautious with your range of motion, not going as far as I am until you're much more comfortable. Rep-wise, I would keep it between 8 to 12 reps if my goal is to build muscle. Weight-wise, I would pick a weight where I can still produce a large range of motion, but my muscles are still challenged. Exercise number 2 is mainly for your lats, but I like to call it the upper body deadlift because it involves so much more muscle than that. This is the dumbbell pullover. There's a bunch of different ways to do it, but this is currently my favorite way to do it. Set up, you're going to walk out like you're about to do a barbell hip thrust or something like that. I'm going to make sure that my lower shoulder blade is still touching the bench, and then my head is lightly rested on the bench. That way I don't have to hold my head up the whole time. The dumbbell's next to me. There's a whole bunch of ways you could get set up. When you got a really heavy weight, I'd actually suggest you have the weight starting down here to get your setup. All right, so the beginning of the actual motion, I'm going to lower the dumbbell towards the floor and lower my butt towards the floor. What this is doing is slacking the lower attachment point of my lat, and it's giving me a much greater range of motion, a much bigger stretch. On the way back up, I'm going to extend my shoulders, extend my hips, and return back to that neutral starting position, shortening the lat at all of its attachment points. If I want to train for larger muscles, I might stay somewhere around 8 to 12 reps. With this exercise, when you get strong, you can move some pretty heavy weight. Exercise number 3 is a shoulder extension bicep curl. So I'm going to set the incline on the bench somewhere between 30 and 45 degrees. If you are more flexible, I would stay around the 30 degree. If you're less flexible, I'd stay around the 45 degree incline. I'm going to lie down and get my shoulders in extension, and it's really important that my elbows and shoulders stay back here. It's natural if you are feeling fatigued or maybe you're a little bit inflexible here to produce the bicep curl and have your elbows lift forward, but that takes away the stretch you want on that bicep. So I'm going to keep my elbows pinned behind me, and then my focus is bringing my palms all the way up to my shoulders without my humerus, the upper arm, changing its location. This is a really challenging exercise, so weight-wise, you're going to have to keep it fairly light compared to what you could do for a regular dumbbell bicep curl. Again, rep range, I'd keep it around 8 to 12 reps. Exercise number 4 is especially important if you want to have bigger arms. You better stop. Okay, hold on. Proportionally, the biggest muscle on your arm is your tricep, so if you want your arms to look bigger, it makes more sense to focus on triceps than it does your shoulders or your biceps. This exercise is a very good tricep exercise. It is the tricep French press or overhead extension, whatever you want to call it. First thing you need to know is the way to grip the dumbbell. I like to make a J with my thumb and pointer finger and put it on the bottom of the top of the dumbbell with both hands. Once my hands are up overhead, we're keeping that in. Once my hands are up overhead, I'm going to lower my thumbs down towards the floor and then press my pinkies back to the ceiling. I'm in a position where I'm getting a big stretch in the triceps and, in fact, the lats. A few more things to focus on if you want to optimize this movement are try to stop that rib flare so your chest might start to puff. You want to try to pull those ribs down, and you still want to maintain shoulder blade neutral, so pin those shoulders down and back in that neutral position. We're going to keep with the pattern. 8 to 12 reps is a great range to train in if you want to build big and strong muscles. All right, so the final exercise is the Arnold Press, and here's what we're going to do. Actually, you know what? I think there's someone better who can explain this.
Hey, Jeremiah.
Hey, Ben. You ready?
Yeah. Hey, what are you doing? Hey, where are you going? Where are you going? We got to do the exercise. Stop moving the camera. Whew. Okay. I don't know what that's all about. Arnold Press. So this is our 5th and final move for developing a stronger, bigger upper body. There's a couple things about the movement that I really like. When I see most injuries in the clinic or in the club, I see those injuries happening at the shoulder joint when people are moving into what's called the range of motion of impingement, which is about 90 degrees of shoulder abduction, so in this range. So when you're doing a regular shoulder press, you are normally moving through that range of motion, which is directly where impingement or pinching can occur, which can tear your rotator cuff. So to avoid that, Arnold Schwarzenegger came up with a fantastic exercise where you start with the weights in the front of the body, you press to the front where you avoid the range of motion that would create impingement, and then you can push all the way up and through. So it has the benefit that you're avoiding impingement, but then there's a secondary benefit to the Arnold Press is that it is also hitting both heads of your deltoid. Well, your deltoid has 3 heads, but it's hitting the front and side head of your deltoid versus the conventional shoulder press is hitting primarily the side head of the deltoid. So to do this exercise appropriately, you're going to grab your weight. You're going to bring it up. It's going to be elbows in front of the body to start. Wrists are going to be in neutral position. Then from there, with the head back, core engaged, you're going to press through that front plane, rotating as you come up to touch at the top, and then bringing the weight right back down. Hitting both of those heads of the deltoid and obviously hitting the triceps as well. It's a great exercise. Give it a try. Do you ever measure your arm circumference?
Yeah. At the biggest it ever was, I hit, I think, 19 inches.
It's pretty good.
I'm probably down to like 15 or 16 now.
What?
They're still big, but I don't. I was 220 pounds.
When were you 220 pounds?
In college.
Okay.
I was eating like Oreos, and I wasn't all muscle. I was a fat.
It was a fat muscle blend.
Yes.
Okay.
That was when I was at my biggest.
That doesn't count then.
You're right. I agree. All right. So if you stuck around to this point, first of all, thank you. We really appreciate that. But here's why we like these 5 exercises so much. The main reason is that they stretch your muscles, and they stretch your muscles under load.
And when you stretch a muscle and do a bigger range of motion, it equals bigger muscles.
The key factor for growing large muscles is mechanical tension, and the more you stretch that muscle, the more mechanical tension you put on that muscle. Long story short, big muscles.
It's that simple.
Thanks.
Bye.
Hey, wait, there's more to say. I want to talk about muscles.